is up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. This is the final installment of the in-depth nutrition 101 basics. So today we are going to be going over carbohydrates, how to figure out your carbs, how to structure your training around your how to structure your carb intake around your training, things of that nature. And but yeah, before we get started, as always, please be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell icon so you get notified, and like this video for the t-shirt, Boats with Respect by The Rock. I'm not sure if I'm giving enough blood, but a little bit of sweat, a little bit of respect. But let's hop right into the video. Let's do it. So if you have made it this far, like the video, please, if you have made it this far, because it's been a long journey, but we made it. So we figured out our calories, how to figure out how to calculate our calories. We've done that. We figured out our proteins, we figured out our fats. So now what is left is the macronutrient that allows you to perform at your very best, that gives you the energy throughout the day to be your very best: carbohydrates. So how do you figure out carbs? This is the most simplest macronutrient to figure out ever, right? So let's say this is my calories, right? Calories are right here, and then these are my proteins, these are my fats. So what am I gonna do? I am gonna take my proteins, add plus my fats, add them together, and then subtract it from my daily caloric intake. So what that gives me, it gives me how many calories I'm getting from fats. And now what do? In 1 gram of carbs, there are 4 calories, right? So what you want to do is essentially you want to take whatever you got for your carbs. So you took your daily caloric intake, you subtract it from your protein caloric intake and your fat caloric intake, and then that gives you whatever calories are left. Those calories that are left are your carbohydrate calories. So you want to divide that by 4, and that's going to give you how many grams of carbs you're getting throughout the day, right? So now that you have that, now you can kind of play with it a little bit. Let's say you have 300 calories throughout the day, split over 5 meals, do the math, right? That gives you about 60 grams. Let's say you have 300 grams of carbs. Sorry, messed up there. 300 grams of carbs. You split them through 5 meals. That gives you 60 grams per meal. Now, if you know that you are someone that doesn't do well with a high carb meal in the morning, then you can ultimately lower those carbohydrates first thing in the morning, and then actually take those and put them into your pre-workout meal, right? Ideally, you want to keep that pre-workout meal around 3 hours before your session. Or let's say you have a pre-workout meal, a pre-workout meal, and then you have your actual pre-workout meal. Now you can split them up into 2 parts, right? So let's say you took your carbs from your breakfast, and then you basically now have 120 grams of carbs to play with. Now you can go 60 grams or 75 grams or whatever in that first pre-workout meal, and the second pre-workout meal 60 or whatever that number comes out to, right? Because then now going into the session, you have enough carbohydrates, you have enough glycogen, glucose in your system to allow you to perform at your very best during that session. And the other flip side of it, once you go into the gym, you're using up your glycogen stores. The most important thing you want to remember, you want to replenish those glycogen stores. So once you get out of the gym, you want to make sure that you're getting more carbs into your system. So getting proteins, minimal fats, and some carbs into your system, because then that's going to allow you to start that rebuilding process. Because what we're doing in the gym, what we're doing when we're working out in the gym, whatever, we're breaking down muscle tissue. And then in order to repair that muscle tissue, you gotta start that repair process a lot earlier. So you want to fill back up with some carbs. Don't go crazy. Just get some carbs post-workout. All right, hydrate, proteins in there. It doesn't have to be right after your session. Ideally, stay within that 2 to 3 hour window right after your session, and then get your carbs in. But essentially, that's how you want to work it. You want to play with it, see what works for you. Some people do better with carbs later in the day. Some people do better with carbs early in the day. You got to find out what works for you. But ultimately, that's how you calculate how many grams of carbs you need. So you take your daily caloric intake, calories from proteins, calories from fats. You add those two calories, proteins and fats together. You subtract from your daily caloric intake. Whatever you get that's left remaining, you divide it by 4. Then that is how many grams of carbs you need. Now, let's say you are in let's say you're trying to lose weight, right? For me, ideally, either, I wouldn't say every week, but every week or every 2 weeks or so. If your weight isn't dropping, then you can take about 100, maybe 100 calories from your base calories, and that 100 calories could probably come from your actual carbs. So if you have 300 grams of carbs, right, do the math, that's 25 grams you would take away from your 300 grams of carbs. Then that's going to allow you to lose weight a lot more healthier versus if you just go from 300 to like 100 carbs. Or you can do a carb cycle, figure out what works best for you. But ultimately, you want to do it slow. You want to take your time, because then that's going to allow you to lose weight properly and actually keep the weight off versus just going crazy and delving right into a crazy weight loss. So that's what we want to do. And then on the flip side, if you want to gain weight, now you just kind of add 25 grams into your carbs, into your carb intake, right? Or let's say you're not getting enough protein and you feel like you could take a bit more protein, same thing. Add a bit more, maybe add like 10 to 20 grams of protein to your protein intake. But essentially, that's how you figure out carbs. That concludes this edition, this installment of the Nutrition In-Depth Basics. But I want to say thank you guys for watching. As always, please be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel. These lights are absolutely brutal, but subscribe to the channel, hit that bell icon so you get notified whenever I upload. I'm going to do more videos, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care. Peace.